to ArchRivals Football Season 4. Sponsored by Raz Energy, Steiner Sports, and Super Draft Pro. Here is your starting lineup for Season 4. Number 20, Darnell, the Playmaker, Sallins. Number 96, Alex, the Bearman, Kazzaz. And number 69, Ricky, the Master of Mayhem, Litwinkowich. Kickoff is starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, whoops. Well, I'll have to cut that part out. It is ArchRivals Football on October 4th, 2022. And I gotta say, very, very interesting week in the NFL. Let me tell you this. The Giants look like the big black and blue team that they normally are with their tons of injuries, other storylines galore. But first, let me bring in my co-host, the only one that showed up for work today. That would be the Bearman, Mr. Alex Kazzaz. Alex, what is doing?
Well, it's such a blessing to be here, and of course I show up to work, buddy, because, well, that is simply what I do. I just show up for work. I mean, as a matter of fact, you, my friend, would have no problem telling the world that sometimes I have a habit of being up to 2 hours early.
Yes, this is very true. He does show up 2 hours early.
Why do I do that? Because I want to make sure I'm prepared, like that. You never know when you're gonna be backstage too. It's basically my way of saying I'm here. I haven't forgotten. I'm ready when you guys are.
It is the true dedication of doing a show.
I mean, everybody knows me. Like, if I schedule a recording or I tell the editor I'm gonna have this published, I'm gonna have this ready, then I stick to it.
Well, we're here. We're hanging out. We got some games to cover. We got some news that's supposedly going around. Tom Brady not only probably getting divorced, but possibly with a torn rotator cuff. That should lighten up the mood in Tampa Bay. That should be quite interesting.
I said in the beginning, I'm going to say it again. Quite frankly, I don't care if people hate me for saying this. He should not have come back. And I'm not going to say it like Darth Vader, but he should not have come back.
He is very frail. He is fragile.
I mean, what do you think Darth Vader would say to him besides you should not have come back if they were in a duel?
Probably you should have retired.
Your powers are weak.
Maybe you wouldn't be getting divorced. Maybe your kids won't kiss you on the mouth anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on with Mr. Thomas Edward Brady going. And, I know there were, like, memes. There were screw-around memes that, after week 2 he was going to retire. But now Thomas Edward Brady looks at the fact of extremely possibly maybe losing 3 weeks in a row, which has never really ever happened to him in his NFL career. But let's get to the games.
All I can ask is, after everything now that he's going through, the injuries, the legal proceedings involving the family, was it all worth it? Was it all worth the risk?
I don't think anything is worth it at this point, to be honest.
Nope, not at all. So let's proceed, shall we, Mr. Ricky, sir?
All right, we start off. We obviously had that really crazy game on Thursday night with Cincinnati-Miami. We're not going to talk about that. All I know is that there were articles stating Tua should stop playing football. He should retire. He did interview with the NFL and other agencies because they are doing that lovely investigation of Sunday and Thursday from last week. But
it's already been announced he will not be playing in the next game.
Well, thank God for that, because we don't get to talk about the Miami Dolphins right now.
Yeah.
We do have football that started at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 in the morning by Mr. Bearman. We had the Minnesota Vikings over the New Orleans Saints 28-25. This was a train wreck waiting to happen.
Did you see the way the game time field goal was missed?
Yes, 2 doinks off the uprights.
You know what's interesting? This was played in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. At least that's what it's called. It's where the Tottenham club in London plays. How fitting is it? You're in England, soccer country, and the penalty, the way it's missed, it's like basically a game-winning penalty in soccer that's missed. It's basically like a bit of a similar chaotic, interesting situation.
I apparently messed up on our scroll. I apologize for that, for putting in the scores. It has Denver and the Raiders tied. Don't ask. Long day.
Oh.
I will say this. I did catch the half of the third quarter and some of the fourth, knowing the fact that I was getting ready. What's up, Richie? How's it going? Mike, what's doing? I will say this. It was a fairly interesting finish, if you really want to call it that. I will say that the Saints did have opportunities. They just They did proverbially crap the bed on their last drive, which did cost them possibly a game-tying field goal to put the game into OT. I really don't think I would have loved to have seen that game go to OT, only for the fact being is it was just ending as the 1 o'clock slate was starting. But
100%.
And I don't want to listen. I don't want to crap on Kirk Cousins. Okay? Because his numbers normally for a regular season are really good. From the understanding of it was the Saints got there early. Minnesota got there late. They decided to not make the trip early for whatever reason. And it did show in the fourth quarter. A lot of people were gassed. I heard one of the Vikings players got injured and was getting surgery in London. Was not flying back with the team. So, whatever that is, we hope he feels better. But overall, I did love the fact that the stands were full of fans, not all wearing Saints and Vikings jerseys. There was a few people there wearing real Redskins jerseys, some Miami Dolphin fans. Like, it was good to see that the stadium was full of fans just to show up for the game.
Well, I gotta be honest. Believe it or not, there is a decent amount of American football fans in England. Believe me, like on my soccer show, Internet NFC, as you know, I have a respective amount of followers in England, and every now and then they'll ask me about the NFL. Like, they kind of get the sport to an extent, but there's some particular things they don't understand why it happens. Like, they don't get why the clock stops on a passing play. They don't get some of the penalties. They don't get some of the rules. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And I tell them it's very hard to explain, and it is a mouthful. But the NFL does have actually a fan base in England, because let's not forget there used to be teams. There used to be like an NFL Europe sort of thing, was there not?
Yes, there was. And the games weren't that great. The games weren't as great as the NFL games, though.
The team in London, I think they were known as the Monarchs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, the Sunday morning football, which we'll have another one this week, which will be Giants and Packers at 9:30 in the morning. I will not be getting up for that game either. Do not think, swear, or believe that I will be up at 9:30 in the morning to watch an NFL game. Not happening.
Well, if it was the Cowboys, then there's obviously I would be. But if it was the Patriots in your case, there's no doubt that you would.
Oh, I'd be up at fucking 6:30 in the morning watching all of the pre-games and all of that good stuff. But thank God the New England Patriots don't go across the water. But that game is coming up. We have the game in Germany coming up. That one I think I probably will get up to watch, because
I totally forgot about that.
The Germany game should be interesting with Tampa going. But we have coming up Giants and Packers this weekend in bloody old England. Should be fun. Starting off our 1 o'clock slate, we had the Atlanta Falcons hosting Brownie the Elf and the Cleveland Turd Burglars, I'm sorry, the Cleveland Browns, with a final score of Atlanta 23, Cleveland 20. Another one of those games where everybody jumped on the Cleveland bandwagon. I know I was not one of those.
No, you picked the Falcons. As a matter of fact, I got the paper right here. You did not pick the Falcons. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't pick the Browns. I did. As a matter of fact, I think you were the lone wolf. You were a lone wolf in this.
I was a lone wolf on a lot of games this week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you know what? I was too, and so was the Playmaker.
So, Cleveland did have an opportunity to tie this game. However, multiple penalties on the last drive in the fourth quarter took them away from winning this game on a very, very big miss for the Cleveland Turd Burglars. I'm not going to say it that it's the fact it's Jacoby Brissett. It's the rest of the team. False start penalties, illegal hands to the face, holding. Cleveland was in the run for that.
See, these are the penalties right there that my English soccer supporters ask me about.
Bernard's watching us on the...
Especially holding.
Bernard's watching us on the tube. They don't get it. Darnell's watching us on the tube. And he said, no, he wasn't. I picked the Falcons. Did he pick the Falcons? Did you have that written down? Because I know I picked.
Well, it's on my. He messaged me, but I don't have that open.
Okay, well, Darnell says he picked the Falcons.
Yeah, well, he ain't getting acknowledged.
I will say this: Atlanta, as everybody much wants to crap on the Falcons, and I probably crapped on the Falcons too, but they are showing that they are resilient. I will go on record by saying that Marcus Mariota is doing a better job than Matt Ryan right now. But I think there's a little bit of a different feel for the Atlanta Falcons. Not a lot of people expect them to win, and they're just showing up. I think they're 2-2 on the year, aren't they?
I mean, Atlanta... Marcus Mariota's pass. I mean, it's got to be embarrassing for Cleveland to live with the fact that they lost to the Falcons, and consider that Marcus Mariota had 7 completions out of 19 attempts, not even 150 yards in through the air, and no touchdowns but 1 pick. That's pretty embarrassing, especially because Nick Chubb, 118 yards on 19 carries. But like you said, it was the penalties, right?
Yes. A lot of penalties down the stretch killed them. They probably could have tied or gone ahead if they didn't have the penalties on their last drive. But I will say, though, it was a very interesting game. It was one of the few because we had 10 1 o'clock games going on Sunday. And I just couldn't watch them all.
I mean, Amari Cooper only had 1 catch for 9 yards. I mean, this is where people would say, oh, you see, maybe it wasn't so bad. I'm like, the Cowboys got nothing out of it, and I'm pretty sure Darnell is shaking his head, says, is he going to get over this or not?
I would get over it right now because going into our next game, we had the Washington Commanders down in Big D. Final score, Cowboys 25, Commanders 10. I will just... I will say this just, Alex, before you go on the Cowboy tirade.
Well, no. It won't be a bad one. It'll probably be a rant, but it won't be. This will actually be something even Darnell would love to actually see it. Well, because there's one thing about this game where I watched it. This actually might make Darnell happy because this is based on his strong friendship advice. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I think the Carson Wentz era of him being a starting quarterback right now, he's on his way out. He has not done anything, and I mean anything, except for maybe stick his thumb up his ass after every game. He's not done anything significant through the first 4. Every game, they are either tied or behind. They never seem to get a lead early. And the only thing that really did happen in this game was the Washington defense actually somewhat kept them in the game.
Well, that's one thing I'm actually going to bring up, but is it? fair to say that Carson Wentz is officially a full shell of his former self?
He's not been the same since he was in Philly.
Okay.
Okay, like granted, you know what? His time in Indy, yeah, he didn't pull through for them. Let's just significantly be honest, okay? But now here it is.
Paid from that contract, right?
Yeah, but here now it is. You know, you're on the Washington Commanders. You have a fairly good head coach there, and you just can't come through. Seriously, I'm not blaming the offensive line. I'm not blaming the surrounding cast of the Washington Commanders, but he's just horrible.
I mean, the Commanders have talent. A lot of people just refuse to actually acknowledge that. But as far as, you mentioned the Washington defense. I gave credit to the Washington defense on my show, and unfortunately, some Cowboy fans, the idiots that like to say this is our year every year, they apparently thought I'm an idiot for that. But you mentioned this particular game. It's interesting. Both defenses of both teams showed up. Now, both offenses, they did sputter. I mean, the Cowboys were able to create a little bit more magic, but let's make no mistake about it, the Cowboys' offense sputtered. The running game, surprisingly, the running game was not abandoned despite how terrible it was, but that's where I give the credit to the Washington defense. The Washington defense stuffed that Cowboys' running game. But I think also what killed the Washington defense, too, were penalties, but that was also on offense.
Well, I could definitely tell you this. There was no stuffing in Detroit Rock City this weekend.
Well, before we get there, here's actually something interesting from the Cowboys in Washington. Don't you find it interesting that Dallas was not the team with more penalties? It was Washington, and it wasn't even close.
If you really want to put it on there, I would definitely say that I'm not. There's no way you could compare either one. But Cooper Rush actually was a little bit better of a game manager than we probably would have seen out of Dak Prescott in this game.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I'll be honest, I don't even remember if there was even a holding penalty on the Cowboys' offense. At least not from the offensive line.
I do know that the Commanders did shoot themselves in the foot quite a few times.
Oh, definitely. And there was even times with. I mean, did you see this game, or did you see the highlights of this game, Ricky?
I watched the majority. I had it on Red Zone actually, and
did you see that horrible punt by the Cowboys that literally gave and Washington did not take advantage of it.
But this is also the fact being that Carson Wentz is pretty much, he's like expired milk right now. Like, it's got lumps of like garbage in it. This is what Carson Wentz has turned into.
All right.
I mean, we can't say we had a garbage game in Detroit. I was legit locked in on this game. Because I have to ask this question, Alex. Was there an NFL game in Detroit this week, or was there a college game in Detroit this week?
Well, the unfortunate part is I got this pick wrong.
So did I. But the game was a lot closer than expected and a lot more exciting than expected. Because once again, the Detroit Lions, even though they gave up 48 points, they scored 45 themselves.
Hey,
93 combined points. Geno Smith actually looked like a legit NFL quarterback this weekend.
Yeah, so for this week, you might want to take back what you said.
No, not really.
I mean, not only from the passing game, but from the running game, too. Geno Smith had 49 yards on 7 carries.
I'm just going to go and say this, okay? Detroit is not one of those teams that anybody's going to push over this year. They are going to be in every game. I said that since day one when we did the recap. Detroit's going to be something to deal with. And with them being short DeAndre Swift and the wide receiver, I think that's a little bit of an advantage. They go over the top. But both defenses, man, those things should be put in recycling bins somewhere. 93 combined points. That's, I believe, one of the highest scoring NFL games in history right now.
I mean, those over 1,000 total yards combined. 555 for Seattle and 520 for Detroit.
It's just ultimately amazing.
235 yards on the ground for Seattle.
They ran the ball. Rashard Penny, I think I had like $170. Was something around like that? Yeah, he had a lot of rushing yards this weekend. But then again, we look at both defenses and you could sneeze through both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the next game was a very interesting game. This was one of the ones that they really highlighted on Red Zone this weekend. Titans at the Horseshoe. Colts and Titans.
You got this one right.
Yes.
I didn't.
I don't think Darnell did either. I'm not sure. I know we were within one game of each other, so.
I'm gonna pull up.
I know we were within one game of each other, and I didn't upload the records, so I didn't. I'm not even worried about it. Titans pull this one out. Let's.
Yep, Darnell got it wrong.
Let's speak the truth on this one, okay? The Titans squeezed by the Colts, but again, a team that a lot of people slated to win the division this year. They do not look like a form of what they were last year, the year before that, the year before that. The Titans are the Titans, I believe, are leading the division, and the Colts have some serious problems.
Well, what's interesting is that the Titans were shut out in the second half.
Yes, and King Henry finally did something for a change.
Right? I mean, Ryan, well, what's interesting? Tannehill, 17 for 21, 2 touchdowns, but only 137 passing yards. But as you just mentioned, Henry actually did something for a change.
I am almost going on record by saying that if you are a starting quarterback, do not go to Indy. The proof is in the pudding. Carson Wentz, not the answer. Matt Ryan, apparently not the answer either. And the Titans defense did actually stand up in this game, which I'm actually pretty good with. But let me tell you, the Colts, unless they could somehow turn it around from week 5 on, will be significantly in trouble. And I don't think they'll even make the playoffs. We will go to MetLife Stadium next. Bears and Giants, final score. Giants 20. Bears 12. The Bears can't pass the ball if their lives depended on it. The Giants now are the walking mash unit of the NFL. Both quarterbacks on their roster got hurt. Danny Dimes with an ankle. And the man that cannot seem to get any luck in his NFL career whatsoever, concussion. Giants scrambling for quarterback.
Who got concussed?
Their backup quarterback.
Huh. You know what's funny is Darnell's the one who got it right on this one.
I'll put it this way. The Giants squeezed past them. I believe there was 7 key injuries on the starting lineups on both sides of the ball for the Giants. Even to the fact being, what's up, Red? How's it going?
Wait, so Tyrod Taylor also got hurt?
Yep, he got a concussion.
And Daniel Jones has an ankle injury.
Yep. As of right now, they don't have a quarterback for Sunday.
They got Saquon Barkley, but he's a running back.
But he was they were doing Wildcat for a while toward the end of the game. My issue with this game right now is it goes to show, as much as we love having Justin Fields as a starting quarterback, he can't throw the ball for shit.
Nope.
They are probably one of the lowest ranking pass offenses in the NFL, if not last already. The only thing that really kept the Chicago Bears in this game was the run game. That's the only thing that happened. Barkley had a good game. The defense, was going to deal with that blow, but they can't pass the ball for shit.
I mean, look at this. Daniel Jones, 8 for 8 for 13, only 71 passing yards.
And then
when did he get hurt?
I think he got hurt in the end of the second quarter, beginning of third. I mean, there's somewhere around there.
Okay, because there was no touchdown in the second half for the Giants. Okay.
There was a lot of field goals in this game.
Justin Fields, 11 for 22 for 174 yards.
But they still can't pass the ball for their lives.
I got to look at the quarterback sacks. Oh man, Fields sacked 6 times.
Mm-hmm. I think Thibodeau got hurt during the game. I mean, I'm telling you, there's probably about a list as long as my arm for the injuries that the Giants had on Sunday. I'm not even joking when I tell you that.
So you think the injuries are going to plague the Giants for the entire season?
I honestly will tell you that that's probably going to happen.
Okay. But hey, 333 total yards for the Giants. I mean, both teams had actually over 300. I mean, Chicago's at 304. I mean, 262 rushing yards for the Giants. So yeah, it's like you said, it was the running game. So it kind of seems like Saquon Barkley is the only positive. I mean, Kenny Galladay's still out there. And for the record, didn't Kenny Galladay get a massive payday from the Giants in free agency? I think it was like
yes, before last season, and he's done nothing since.
Because I'm actually going to take a look at it. Okay. Yeah, March 20th. Oh, that's my youngest brother's birthday. He signed a 4-year deal worth $72 million. No what to say about that. I mean, there's probably nothing to say about it, right? 'Cause the proof is in the pudding. It's right there in our face.
All right. We're going to shift gears. We're going to go to our second slide of games. We're not going to do any commercials tonight. No, I'm just going to go straight.
No commercials? Okay.
No commercials. Okay, we did have a really interesting game. And I took Jacksonville for a reason, and they did kind of prove it to me. They still are viable. I know everybody jumped on the Eagles bandwagon. Now there's talking about them going 17-0. Calm yourselves, fuckers. Okay? We're only through week 4. Yes, they are the only undefeated team in the NFL after week 4. But let's calm yourselves about the 17-0 season. Okay? I don't want to hear this shit.
I mean, Jacksonville had a 14-0 lead at one point.
But you know what, though? I will go and say this. Jacksonville,
a pick 6 too.
Jacksonville is not a bad weather team. They are not a bad weather team whatsoever. Okay? I'm telling you right now, I have a feeling that Jacksonville is going to be up and coming. I think they're going to be like the Lions. They could be in games, but I don't think they have enough to put themselves over. And let's not crap on the Eagles totally, because themselves really should have put away the Jacksonville Jaguars a lot more than just the 8 points. Philly was ultimately dominant throughout the end of the second quarter to the rest of the game, but Philly is a bad weather team. So I will give Philly that credit, but they are not as dominant as everybody in the NFL is making them to be right now. I'm going to just say right there.
Because it would be mentioned who have they beaten? Right? Is that the case?
Yeah, look at the records of the teams that they've beaten so far.
I mean, Minnesota is will probably be the one team that people would say, well, they beat Minnesota.
Because Minnesota's 2-2.
Yeah. But Minnesota's 2-2.
But you'll look at Jacksonville, only one win against the Colts, right?
No, they beat the Chargers 38-10.
Okay, so they're 2-2.
Yeah, so the Jaguars are 2-2 as well.
Who else have they played for the other 2 weeks?
They played Detroit in week 1, and then they beat Washington, where they sacked Carson Wentz 9 times.
Exactly my point.
As Darnell kindly reminded us last week, and when Darnell mentioned the 9 sacks, it's almost, I mean, you could tell the dude was overwhelmed.
Well, speaking of overwhelming, the rancid pick of the week. The rancid pick of the week.
Well, Sharon in the chat says the Jaguars will come back and make it up. I'm like, okay. I mean, who knows? I mean, personally, I would have loved to see the Jaguars beat the Eagles. Unfortunately, they could not do that.
Yes. But the little engine that could just end the season.
And you called it.
My God, got hate from everybody that watches this show. This show on YouTube got over 1,000 views over the weekend. 1,000 views. And I got messages.
You picked the Jets?
I got messages on my YouTube. Are you fucking insane for picking the New York Jets over the
Wait, did you really?
Steelers? Yes. My box is still kind of full right now. I'm not even joking.
And these were from people that watched the
that watched the show and said I was bananas for picking the New York Jets over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So those are probably the same people that got on to me for giving the credit to the Washington defense.
Yes. Okay. And my God, 24-20. 24-20. Yes, we got to see Mr. Kenny Pickett. He did an okay job in relief of, Pittsburgh's favorite son himself, Mitchell Trubisky. But they still lost.
I mean, the 3 interceptions from Mr. Kenny Pickett doesn't really seem to be doing any justice, but
you know what?
But hey, we want to talk about something beautiful. Zach Wilson's touchdown catch. That was a
replay
cool.
of the catch from the Super Bowl from New England and Philly.
So therefore, maybe not so cool for you, but
it didn't bother me one bit though. It was just that the fact that the Jets offensive coordinator, for a change, had some creativity going on.
Yeah.
A little bit of the out-of-the-box play calling.
Zach Wilson, 18 for 36, 252 yards. That's not so bad.
The key to the game was the last drive for the Jets with the ball just barely going over the goal line, breaking the plane, so to speak. But let me tell you, I will say this. I gave the Jets credit. I'm not going to give them credit for this week coming up because I believe they play the Miami Dolphins.
Yes, they do.
I will say, though, the game in the crab cake was probably game of the week. Or if not, a runner-up for game of the week.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson just has to. I mean, I'm telling you, fantasy football-wise, this was a horrible week for me. And I do mean horrible.
Well, I put the onus on the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens.
John Harbaugh.
I always say it. When the points are available, you take the points. Don't sit there and say to me that, it's Lamar Jackson. We're at the 1. Let's do what we got to do and get the ball in. Buffalo's defense turned it up in the second half. Jordan Poyer, give him credit. He does not have that supporting cast that he normally does, with all the defenders being out of the game. Buffalo survived. They survived this game, unlike them surviving the Miami game. That's the way I got to put it.
Baltimore shut out in the second half.
Again, Buffalo's defense picked it up in the second half. They always seem to be in cruise mode in the first. Second half, they just cut you off.
Can I ask you this? In the second half, did the Buffalo defense, did they figure out, did they have Lamar Jackson all figured out?
I think they figured more than Lamar out.
I'm sorry, because the fact that Lamar Jackson said that, so every time he gets his ass kicked by a defense, I'm going to bring that up.
All I can say is this. Lamar is not a happy camper.
I mean,
he is
I'm
not
not
a happy camper
too. He's my starting quarterback on both my teams, and yeah.
Moving on. We had the Chargers in Houston. Chargers were up big. Not as big as they thought they were at the end. Anthony Richard, what's up? I already talked about the Eagles. Dude. But I'll go back and say this. If you tell me that the Eagles are going 17-0, you might as well just pay me $1,000 right now. Because I'm telling you right now, they're not going 17-0. I don't want to hear the garbage. Okay? You're 4 weeks into the season. Be happy that you're in first place with a 4-0 record. And the Giants pretty much breathing up your fucking tailpipe. Chargers were ahead big in this game at one point.
I'm not even going to mention the Cowboys. Wow, I thought I was the hater.
Then the Houston Texans decided to have a 75-yard rushing touchdown. That was pretty awesome. I will say that. I watched it.
I'll be honest, I picked Houston, didn't I?
Austin Eckler got 3 touchdowns in the game. He had not scored before Sunday. And he was tied for the league lead in touchdowns last season. I will say I'm still not convinced of the Chargers right now. I'm not convinced. I said this was going to be a get-right game for them. Okay, they put a W on the board. But for them to get ahead and not put the Texans away the way that the Chargers are made, there's a problem. There is a legit problem with that Chargers defense that was supposed to have been upgraded, and it looks like they didn't upgrade at all. I'm going to be serious on this one. There are some serious issues going on with the Chargers. I mean, what's Herbert's numbers for the week?
27 for 39, 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What's up, Steven? And how many? And what was Eckler's numbers?
For running or for passing?
Both.
Well, for running, it's 13 carries for 60 yards and 2 scores.
And I know he had a receiving touchdown too, right?
Yeah, he had 6 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown.
There you go. See, Darnell's not watching, and Steven's going off. Where's Darnell? Let's go Rams, laughing out loud. You see.
How you doing, Steven?
I will say this, though. We're going to move on to the only 4:05 game on Sunday, because they uploaded the whole 10-game, 1 o'clock schedule. Stupid NFL. We did have the Cardinals over the Panthers. 26 to, was it 16?
26 to 16. And I got it right. You got it wrong.
You know what? I honestly thought Baker would do something. But now, apparently, through 4 starts, Baker is not Baker. And, top it all off, he is also on the hot seat of starting quarterbacks that will be riding the pine very, very soon. Because apparently the Carolina Panthers cannot operate with him at quarterback.
Is there any word out on Mr. Sam Darnold?
I have not looked for any word from Mr. Sam Darnold, nor do I care to look for Sam Darnold.
Because it doesn't matter.
Because it don't matter what quarterback you got in there. At some point, they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out. Moving on to another game that I picked here. And then I went to the Bet Stamp app, and I put money on it. Even though it was a negative, I caught the line at the beginning. I was good to go. Pat's getting 9.5. 9.5! For a game that went to overtime for the Packers to only win 27-24.
All right, this is where I'm asking. I hope Bernard's still here because this is where, because I want to know Bernard's thoughts. Hey, Steve, I'm doing okay, man.
John, I messed up with the score when I was putting it together.
Month. Podcast numbers were not so good last month, especially with revenue. But I should have mentioned this on Sunday when I watched the Cowboys game. I actually went to church, so I forgot to mention that because Darnell would have been proud because me going to church was actually under Darnell's strong friendship advice. Mr. Misak! Oh man, God bless him.
Yeah, he noticed the mistake in the thing. I fucked that up. I apologize. Well, then again, I apologized in the beginning because I saw it in the beginning and I was like, shit. I am just gonna go and say this.
Well, here's the part where I'm sure John is obviously the disappointing for. Well, we'll get to that game in a little bit, but it's the injury. But as far as the Packers and the Patriots, yeah, I'm really dying to know Bernard's thoughts.
I'm gonna say this. For a depleted Patriots team being spotted 10 points going into Lambeau Field and seeing Brian Hoyer get his clock cleaned in the first quarter. The first quarter. I was like, wow, Mr. Zappy, who was drafted in the 4th round of last year's draft, is going to come in and he's going to shit his pants. But I'll also go on record and say this. Even though the Green Bay Packers won this game, they should have blown the doors off the Patriots. And the Patriots showed the cojones that they could still play without Mac Jones, without a starting receiver, without starting a defensive lineman. They stayed in this game. Granted, overtime, they should have gone for it on 4th, but they were very resilient. The Patriots are 1-3, but I'm going to tell you this. I am going to be okay with whatever goes on, and God forbid, if New England goes and signs fucking Cam Fig Newton, I'm going to have problems. Okay? Because what are you signing Cam for? Only time till Mac gets back? Only time till Brian Hoyer passes concussion protocol? I hate to say it, my friends. Cam Newton is not an option. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it.
You can give. You might want to try giving Ryan Fitzpatrick a call.
I would take Ryan Fitzpatrick over Cam Fig Newton every day.
100%.
Yes, they signed Garrett Gilbert off their practice squad. Woohoo! Yippee-ki-yay, mofo! He won't last.
Garrett Gilbert, that's somebody that I'm very, 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 very familiar with.
Well,
at one point, Garrett Gilbert was the best high school quarterback in the state of Texas.
Well, they did release
probably the best quarterback in the nation.
They did release Laquan Treadwell, their former number 1, a number pick. But no, Bobby Boucher is not next, Steven. Drink your Gatorade and shut the fuck up. They are possibly looking at the receiver that was just released from the Arizona Cardinals to sign. I did have the name. I lost it. Don't care. But there's a possibility that he may be coming in too. So receiver help for the Patriots, yes. Quarterback, I don't know. But things may turn it around because they have the 11th easy schedule for the next few weeks. So you never know what's going to happen in New England. Oh, and New England finally is wearing their red jerseys again this weekend. Yes, thank you, John. Andy Isabella. Maybe signing with the Pats. Should be interesting. Not going to lie. All right. Last but not least.
So much for Bernard's thoughts, but okay.
Yeah, I think Bernard might be watching the Braves game.
Probably.
All right. Last but not least. Okay, let me just get this slide.
Oh, we got 2 more games.
There we go.
3 more, actually.
We had the Denver Broncos visiting Las Vegas, baby. Raiders 32, Broncos 23. And as I said on Saturday's show, Russ ain't cooking shit.
Well,
he
honestly,
not cooking shit.
I have not actually had a chance to speak with John about the game against San Francisco, but I'm pretty sure John would simply kind of really get to the point and say, I mean, there's nothing to say about that game other than the fact that it was, well, pathetic.
John says Broncos getting mauled by the Raiders in their stadium is no surprise.
Well, the unfortunate part was I believe Williams, the running back, is out for the season. I think a torn ACL.
Yes.
Boy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the broken record going on about this whole ordeal. But for a team that everybody was choking the chicken about, they might as well just go choke fucking Russell Wilson. Save the man meat and go choke Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. You put a lot of hype at a quarterback where his fucking starting cast is fucking just withering away like fucking bad flowers in the winter.
Well, there you go. I want an answer. Mr. Misak provided me with one. He says the Broncos versus 49 offenses was like watching drunk men riding a motorcycle.
I think it was more like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. That's what I thought about it.
Or two one-legged men in an asking contest.
Yeah, they're kicking each other in the ass and then falling down on their ass.
And getting back up and doing the same thing again.
I don't know out of our crew how many people picked the Broncos on Sunday, but as I had said on Saturday that this was one of the get-right games for the Raiders. The Raiders are finally on the board.
Darnell picked Denver.
Oh, poor Darnell. Javonte out for the year is just depressing. Listen, you're only through week 4. Just remember the freaking Jets Broncos bet that's coming up in week 7, I think. Moving on to Sunday Night Football. I did not watch Sunday Night Football. I did work Sunday night. I'm not going to lie when I tell you this. I worked Sunday night. I watched maybe 5 minutes of the show. And the Chiefs were ahead. I think they were up 14-something. But as I also had stated earlier in the show, Mr. Thomas Edward Brady looks very old. He is that skeleton with skin hanging off. He's very pale. Now he's getting divorced. And now, possibly a really big injury of a torn rotator cuff. Buccaneers fans, I warned you ahead of time. This is not going to be the easiest season on the planet. And if you don't have Thomas Edward Brady back there, barely winning the division may be an option. Not the, I think I had them at 12-5 or 13-4. No, I don't see that happening anymore. I really don't see that happening anymore. What do you think, Alex?
Well, a torn rotator cuff. I don't know if I should ask you this, but what is usually the timetable for the well, because remember, it's not just the healing, you got to rehab and everything.
Yes, but normal baseball players tear rotator cuffs a lot. It's a lot of strain on the shoulder area. And torn rotator cuffs, you could be out 6 months to a year.
Maybe even more. It depends on how badly torn it is. Or if the surgery's got complications, but
if he does indeed have a torn rotator cuff, right? If he does indeed have this, he shouldn't have got surgery Monday, because then he may have a shot. He may have a shot.
Wait, did they confirm that he has a torn rotator cuff? Because I did not see that.
I'm going to look at the web. But there were a lot of reports saying that Mr. Brady has a torn rotator cuff. And that was from a hit in the second quarter. That I did see.
Because I'm sure I would have gotten the notification from ESPN that he's been diagnosed with a torn rotator cuff, and that did not happen.
Well, again, there was a lot of different articles going around. So I don't know exactly what the details are. Let me just briefly look through ESPN. Actually, it was on the web, because I know everybody wants to know if my favorite former quarterback is okay. I doubt that he is, but
he's still your favorite. You don't have to be ashamed to admit that.
No, not really. Not really. I've moved on. He's not wearing the red, white, and blue anymore. So I don't think that's a thing. In fact, all of the Tom Brady news is about him getting, divorced. Let's see. There's the article here. Minor rotator cuff injury is what they're reporting on Sports Illustrated. And he'll be able to play through it. But I will say this,
able to play through it at his age? Oh, for God's sake.
Again, okay, you have to be able to throw the ball with a rotator cuff. You just can't hand it to fucking Leonard Fournette 85 times and hope you're going to win.
Oh, yeah. Another bad day for him through the running game. And Brady threw 52 times, mind you.
And most of it after the freaking the hit with a fucking bad rotator cuff. And he wasn't accurate either. Let's be honest. Brady has not been accurate the entire year.
Nope.
And that's another problem. Finally, we had the Rams visiting the 49ers. Monday Night Football.
Too bad Darnell's not here.
I think that's why he's not here. Because his team cost me money Monday night.
Well, just wait for Ramley talk. Ramley talk. He'll deliver his.
No, I'll just torture him tomorrow on college football. Can't avoid me on that one.
Not.
No, I'm going to. I'm going to torture him because his team cost me money on Monday night.
Okay, well you can, but me probably not. The Bearman probably will, but not me. Remember, y'all, it's the Bearman's my alter ego. It's a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Steven, I'm ahead of you. I'm way ahead of you. That's why I have more than one computer rolling. 49ers 24, Rams.
We still love you, Steven. Don't worry.
9.
We still love you, Steven.
I'm going to ask you this question, Alex. Okay. And this was 3 articles that I've read today, going into today's show.
Today. Right before the show?
Well, no, earlier this afternoon before when I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Before Pipe Bomb Radio. Okay.
I just out of curiosity, the question was: is this player now considered overrated? Can you guess who the player is that they're talking about? That everybody's asking if he's overrated.
Matthew Stafford?
Correct. Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, to be honest, I debate like it can't be Matthew Stafford because of the history of Detroit. But then again, I have to remind myself because I spoke to this with Darnell because Darnell breached the question and he needed me to answer it. He said, Bearman, I need more than the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I need you to be the biggest man of conviction in this particular question. When he asked me, are we really going to see the real Matthew Stafford? Now, this is way before the last season started. But, man, I'm telling you, Matthew Stafford this season, he's been sacked too many times. I mean,
well, just
some would say it's called it happens all the time. They call it a Super Bowl hangover.
Can you just refresh my memory? What was Matthew Stafford's numbers last night? What were those numbers?
32 for 48, 254 yards, but hold on to your hat. No touchdowns and 1 interception.
What's that average? What was the average yardage he passed for last night?
Well, 32 for 54. I mean, I'm not so good at math, but the average, I mean, I'd imagine it's probably nothing really convincing, but
I mean, the percentage.
Well, I can tell you how many yards per play the Rams average on offense.
That's good. Give me that one.
3.5, which makes it about 4 yards because it's 3.5.
My dead grandmother can do more than 3.5 yards per play. And she's been dead since 2003.
God rest her soul.
That is horrible to know that they only averaged 3.5 yards per play. The Super Bowl champions have now lost 7 straight. 7 straight to the 49ers in the regular season.
Well, and that's if you don't count the NFC Championship.
No, I'm talking regular season. They have not
I
won in
know.
7 straight
just
regular
saying.
season games.
I'm just saying because some people will bring up the NFC Championship, but
That
that's if you don't count it.
Pitiful.
And by the way, Aaron Judge broke the record.
He broke 62?
Yep.
Whoop-de-doo.
in Texas as well.
Whoop-de-doo. He did it against the lowly Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw.
But you know what? Hey,
I'm gonna throw a cum party for him.
He did it in my state, so I'm happy.
I'll throw a cum party for him because I don't.
All right. Well, here, if you want the average, I just pulled it up. He averaged about 5.3 yards per pass, and his quarterback rating 42.2, and his rating 71.
All right. Enough with the past. Let us go.
Sacked 7 times too.
To the future, because Darnell is going to end up owing me the $10 that I lost on the game. Faith in his fucking team, and he shit the bed on me too.
So let me ask you this: Are you going to continue until he decides to finally pay it up back?
No, because then he'll be like, "Oh, you're stupid and should have picked the 49ers."
Well, hey, we all picked the Rams on this one, so.
All right.
Well, hey, you mentioned the offense. Check this out. You want to know the time of possession?
Sure.
34 minutes and 34 seconds for the Los Angeles Rams.
More time of possession, and they still couldn't fucking win.
And 73 total plays.
All right. This is what I am going to do, because for those that don't know, I am part of a really amazing company, and they are going to give me the numbers for Thursday night's game, Thursday Night Football, Mile High Stadium, if that's what they even call it these days. It is the Indianapolis Colts being hosted by the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
John and I have spoken about this on one of my gaming streams, which I haven't done in a while. I just told John, I just say they're playing on Mile High because the particular place in Colorado, which is outside of Denver.
And apparently we got disconnected. That's beautiful.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got disconnected somehow. That's probably the weather, but that's besides the point. And it's being recorded, so we're good.
I love how you say it. But anyway, do I need to repeat the conversation I had with Mr. Misak as far as the Broncos Stadium?
I have to do the BetStamp promo first. Okay?
All right.
BetStamp, obviously, is the kayak of sports betting. If you are on multiple sports betting apps, Kayak collects all of those numbers, and they give you the easiest places to find your best betting, whether it's on DraftKings, BetRivers, FanDuel, Caesars. I know there's only 5 in New York, but if you are outside of New York, there's multiple more apps that there are out there. You can attach them to the BetStamp app, and they give you all of the best numbers. So you can go to the best places to make more value for your bet. BetStamp has Denver winning the game at 62%. BetRivers on my app is the line at 3.5. We don't do half, so I'll bump that to 4. And an under-over of 43 for the game. ESPN is picking Denver. Yeah, a lot of them are picking Denver. And John says, I think we have a shot, but Ryan did torch us for 2 years ago. All right.
Yeah, but that was the Atlanta days. I mean,
that was also when he had a clue.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he has a much better team in Indy, and he still can't perform. Somebody get this guy some Blue Chew or Viagra. Because I think that's what it needs. I think that's what Matt Ryan needs. Either that, or he needs to get fucking head before he goes on the field. Because he's horrible, too. Let's not... They traded for Matt Ryan to make the situation better, and it's worse. For that matter, they should have just kept fucking Carson Wentz. John, I can't honestly go into this game knowing the fact that the Broncos offense through 4 games has put up very many points. This is my problem. And now they lose their running back for the year. I don't know, man. Somebody's throwing some fucking really shady cheese around if they still have Denver favored for the game. A 28-3 draft pick. Oh, well.
I'm gonna. Right now, the question is who will be the running back for Denver right now? I'm guessing is Gordon now officially the full-time starter or whatever?
Why wasn't Gordon the full-time starter to begin with? He's the
Well,
more
he's not hurt,
experienced,
is he?
but he's the more experienced back.
Right? Okay.
And that's another thing that I'm kind of not happy with either.
That's the question to Mr. Misak. Oh my God! Randy Gregory's on injured reserve?
Yep.
Oh well, Melvin Gordon is listed as questionable as of today, but Randy Gregory's on injured reserve. Oh well. Look at that. Ask and you shall receive, as far as an answer goes, because Mr. John Misak is the man. Gordon has a fumbling machine. Is a fumbling machine, or has been. Yeah.
See, I can't.
John, you sir are the man.
I'm gonna. I'm.
He's not Ric Flair. He's not Ric Flair, but in his own way, he's the man.
I'm gonna stretch for this pick. I'm gonna stretch for it. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. In a close one. There's no blowout in this game.
Every time I pick the Colts, they have basically made me look like a complete fool. John asking me, does it feel good that not to have Greg on my team anymore, right, Bearman? I mean, Rennie Gregory is a great player, but the way we lost him is truly unfortunate. But John, if you recall, we spoke about this on one of my streams, okay? And you mentioned that you basically didn't have the heaviest expectations for this. So it's almost as if, John, your call, in a sense, is basically correct. But it's like I said, Russell Wilson ain't cooking anything, so we can't really say we shall smell what the Russ is cooking. And again, the Colts have made me look like a complete fool. Look, I'm gonna pick the Colts, but it would not be surprising if the Broncos once again reminded me, Bearman, why did you have to go with the Colts again?
And listen, at some point, the Broncos have got to get healthy.
And I mean, and I'm curious to know who John's verdict on this.
Well, he just said, "God damn it." He just said, "God damn it." You know what, John? Listen. I'm not going to blame you, but Denver signed a running back from like the practice squad really fucking does anything. Okay, what did he imitate? Jonathan Taylor? Oh my God. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I picked the Colts, but like I said, I'm not ruling out the Broncos. So it's not like I'm completely burying the Broncos or saying there's no way they win. It's just, right now with the Broncos' problem, I mean,
again, I don't. Yeah. It's not that I don't want to pick the Broncos because they're playing at home. You go with Darnell's theory of, all the home teams should be good on Thursday night. I think that kind of just went by the wayside. What was that last 2 weeks ago? Opening week?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So I don't want to hear the we got to go with the home team on Thursday night deal. I think the home teams are 2-2 this year so far.
Right.
But the Colts can't afford to go down as many games as they already are.
Nope.
They're already a game back of the fucking Titans in the division. This has got to be, I hate to say it, this is a must win for the Indianapolis Colts. It's a must win.
For both, honestly.
No, because the Broncos are still technically in the run for the division. You're behind Kansas City.
True. That's true.
So that's what you got to see. Even he's been 50-50 on Broncos. But I'm going to say it. The Colts, this is a must win for the Colts. They cannot afford to piss this one away.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, then now you think of it, there's my justified reason for going with the Colts because they're in a must-win situation. So,
all right, that is it for tonight's show. We hope everybody's glad and was here and enjoyed the show. You know, Darnell's team shit the bed last night. He's MIA. He's probably at work. He might be at work. I don't remember. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. I don't remember what I had for breakfast today, let alone. So, yeah, that's it for the show. We got Bearing Down the Gridiron tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We also have a very, very amazing show going on tomorrow for all those in the chat. We have a lovely Pipe Bomb Radio NYC independent artist show. Myself and Lars the Viking will be on tomorrow. They signed Latavius Murray from the Saints practice squad. Yeah, he ain't making it there in enough time. In fact, no, Murray played on Sunday, didn't he?
I believe,
I thought Latavius Murray played on Sunday.
John actually mentioned it.
Yeah, so how are they signing him if he was on the main roster on Sunday? Unless they released him somehow.
Unless they cut him, yeah.
I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
But Latavius Murray did play on Sunday. He played the early game. He had a decent game, too. So, that's that. Any final words for the peoples?
No, sir.
All right. On behalf of the absent Playmaker, myself and the Bear Man, this is ArchRivals Football. This is how you do a fucking football show. And we will catch you guys again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mixlr. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
You've just experienced ArchRivals Football Season 4. Click that like button and subscribe so you'll be notified when a new Arch episode is live on the air. Check out our sponsor links down below for everyday deals on Fanatics, NFLshop.com, and Points.com. Need merch? Check out www.paintrainpipebomb.threadless.com for quality merch at amazing prices. Tune in again next time for ArchRivals Football Season 4.